Hey everyone, Nate Sabat here. Thanks so much for tuning in to my very first Patreon video. This is week 1 and it's technique video number 1. So to get started, I really just wanted to talk about the fundamentals of bass playing, which really doesn't actually have that much to do with playing music quite yet. It's about how to hold the bass and how to make sure you're going to be preventing injury and pain and stress in the long run. Because this thing is a beast, you know, you really got to be careful with how you approach it. You want to approach it in a way that is healthy. So first things first, I just wanted to talk briefly about end pin height. You know, the end pin is the stick at the bottom of your bass. I'm not going to pick up the bass that far, so it's going to hit my ceiling if I try. But it's the stick at the end of the bass that kind of creates the height of the instrument. You can specialize it to your liking. And what I always tell people is you never really want the nut to be more than like, you know, I'd say like 2 inches above your eye level. Right now I think mine's about as high as I would ever go with it. And the kind of the bottom end of that is you might want to avoid the nut being lower than your eye level. So it's somewhere in between here and here, and that's obviously specialized for people's height. I'm 6'5". I would not recommend anyone put it at the height that mine's at unless you're a tall person as well. So that's the first thing. So mine's on the high end. You can put it a little lower. Just make sure that nut is at eye level, you know, or 2 inches above eye level, somewhere in there. And then once you have your end pin set, you're going to bring the bass to your stomach. And this part of the bass is called the upper left bout, right here. And you're going to put that piece of the bass on your stomach. And the idea is that we're having all the weight come into our body and we're allowing our arms to pretty much be free, not have to hold up the weight of the instrument at all. So we're going to try to balance the bass, you know, make sure it doesn't fall on the floor or anything like that. But we want it to be able to balance on the weight of our body. You know, and then from there, another way to help anchor the bass is using the back of your left knee. And you can place that on the back of the bass. And that'll even give you some, a little extra, you know, another place to hold the bass so you can let your arms fly free. That should anchor it even more. So our arms are pretty much free to do what they want. There's no extra pressure coming into them on the bass, you know. And first we're going to talk about our right arm. And the most important thing with the right arm is this concept called arm weight. So what arm weight means is we're using gravity to our advantage when we're plucking the strings. The way we can kind of feel the sensation without even touching the instrument is pick up your arm like a zombie and just let it fall back to your body. Don't force anything, you know, just let it fall. It'll fall naturally. And you can feel how your whole arm's activated from shoulder to hand. The whole thing, it's kind of one big fulcrum. And then from there, you can put your right pointer finger on the E string, the lowest string on the bass, and have that same sensation. Experience that arm falling back to your body. And that should be the sensation you feel pretty much every time you pluck a note on the bass. But obviously we don't want to bring our entire arm back to our side every time we pluck a note. So we're going to take our thumb and anchor it on the back of the fingerboard, kind of like a hook. And we still want that sensation to be present. Follow through and use your entire arm, but don't come all the way back. And you can go up the bass to the A string, D, G, back down, making sure you're activating that whole arm. And if you're ever, you know, at a loss or you're confused about that, just go back to zombie mode, you know, arm up and let it fall. And you should be able to kind of reset. So that's the concept of arm weight with the right hand. And from there, we're going to talk about the left arm and the left hand. And the code word with the left arm and left hand is economy of motion. What that means is we want to use the hand and the arm to achieve as much as possible without working more than we need to. So the one way that I really want to talk about this today is left hand positioning, because I see a lot of people do the claw. I don't know, some of you out there may be claw people yourselves, and that's kind of like when you just grip the neck. You're rocking a bass line. It works for that, but it wouldn't really work. We're starting to get, we're going to be talking about playing melodies and potentially going up higher on the bass, and the claw will not suffice at that point. So I figured we start off on the right foot and just talk about a different hand position, which is kind of popularized by a guy named Samandal, this great bass professor. So what we're doing is we're going to take our pointer finger, our middle finger, and then our ring and pinky, kind of acting as one finger, and spread them out over 3 half steps. Okay? So the first note we're going to play is the pointer finger, the A flat on the G string. And then without taking that finger off, we're going to be playing the A with our second finger. And then from there we play the B flat with our fourth finger, and third finger comes down as well. And all the while our thumb is on the back of the neck. It's kind of on the thickest part of the wood, and it's directly across from the middle finger. And that's pretty much the hand position we're going to be using all the time when we're playing bass lines or melodies or anything in this part of the bass, which is where we'll be living most of the time. So again, it's all about economy of motion, right? Why take these 3 notes and play it like... that is a lot of motion. May as well just, spread these fingers out. Same thing, but just a little bit less work. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. I just want people to take that in for the week and think about maybe some old habits that you have that you might want to shift and, try this on instead. So thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. And stay tuned for the first bassline video next week. We're going to be talking about repeated roots, transitioning from one chord to another, which is a fundamental of bass lines in my eyes. See you then.